It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it's great to have you in studio with us today. We've got a great show lined up. Prescott Regulators, Neil Thomas, he's the president of the Prescott Regulators and their Shady Ladies. We cannot forget the Shady Ladies. He's the president of the group. It's the 12th annual Prescott Regulators Whiskey Row Shootout coming up on July 22nd and 23rd in downtown Prescott. Their website is prescottregulators.org and a phone number for you, 928-499-0699. And we'll repeat that over and over again throughout the show. Thanks for coming over, Neil.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Neil is in period dress.
I am.
Maybe we should start there. Kind of tell me what you're wearing.
Well, what I'm wearing is something that you would see, for example, as a town marshal or somebody in town that might be a constable or whatever. They would have been dressed more in clothes of a more civilized nature. They would have not been in the dirty cowboy clothes we all see in the movies.
Gotcha.
They would not have been carrying a double gun belt. I mean, good heavens, every time you sit into a chariot, you get stuck.
Okay.
A lot of them carried a shoulder holster type of a weapon, just like a lot of the law enforcement people do now. Mm-hmm. And so they would have had something like this, which they could have put a jacket over as well during if it was cold, and carrying a single pistol, maybe with 4 or 5 extra rounds, just like a standard county sheriff might.
What am I doing?
So their job was to keep the peace, and they very seldom had to use the pistol, but if they needed it, just like a current police officer, they had to have something available. So this would have been something they would have carried. They actually called this a shopkeeper model or a sheriff's model, which has a 3.5-inch barrel instead of the great big long pieces you see in the movies. And,
okay.
They would have carried it either in the open like this on a hot day, or if it was a cold day, like I said, they would have had a broadcloth jacket on.
Okay.
Looked a lot like Wyatt Earp, but with better clothes.
So tell us about Neil Thomas. How did he get involved in the Prescott Regulators? Because you guys have been around for a while now.
Prescott Regulators have been around 14 years.
Okay.
My wife and I started working with the Regulators approximately 12 years ago. We moved here from Oregon, and we're both from the West. We're both from originally from Utah, with the background of both of our families going way back. Mine going clear back to 1847 in the area. So always been interested in the West because I've had family records and things that showed that. Got down here, we're looking for something different to do. We'd already done a little bit of cowboy action shooting up in Oregon, and came down here, saw the Prescott Regulators in a parade. It was actually one of their very first parades, and so that would be kind of cool. And some people we knew down here knew their current treasurer, and so we got involved with the group through them, and then got involved heavily, and then 8 years ago I was elected president of the group.
And you've been there ever since?
Been there ever since. Can't seem to get away from it.
And before the show, you were telling me there's 74 members, so that's a large group.
Yeah, we have 74 members. We're currently, almost without a doubt, the largest group in the state of Arizona. We're a 501c3 and the official Old West ambassadors of Prescott, and represent Prescott around the state in parades. We have a float. We do the Parada del Sol for Prescott. Matter of fact, we took first place in it a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Won the Parada del Sol's Spirit Award this time around. So yeah, we're very proud of the representation that we do. We do 6 or 7 parades a year. We reenact, and we try to raise money as the 501c3 for our scholarship fund.
Okay, all right. Yeah, the scholarship fund. We're going to be talking about that too. We're definitely going to be talking about that. Tell us about. This is your big. You said 501c3. You're a nonprofit organization, and you guys raise money for these not grants, but Scholarships. Right. Thank you for putting that word in my mouth. The 12th annual Prescott Regulators on Whiskey Row. The shootout's coming up July 22nd, 23rd. Norm, when I was talking to him to get this set up with you, wanted to make sure we mentioned the fact that you guys will be set up and the Shady Ladies will be set up in a different location this year.
Yeah, we started this off, as it's obvious, 12 years ago, and it used to be right on Whiskey Row. But Whiskey Row is Highway 89, and it had some very strange rules. We could close the road down during the day, but we had to completely remove everybody during the night, so it was a double setup. And our old props and things in that area were all stick-built, looked like an old western town, which our current stuff does too. But we were a lot younger then and a lot more gung-ho, but we would have to come on Saturday morning and set it up, tear it down at 5 o'clock on Saturday night.
Wow.
Get back there at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, set it up, and have it torn down so the road could be opened on Saturday or Sunday night. So it started off as the shootout on Whiskey Row, and we still have had it attached somewhat to Whiskey Row for the entire time. We've moved it over to, those of you who are familiar with this courthouse square, to Cortez for a couple of years, and then the Prescott Regulators were selected by the state as one of 3 groups to represent the state in the Centennial. And I was in charge of the state's western area for both here and down in Phoenix when we did it. And we took a vacant lot in downtown Prescott and turned it into a Old West shooting town with combining a couple of groups, prop sets and things in that area. And the state brought in bleachers and all types of things. And the mayor of Prescott at that time, Marlon Kuykendall, liked the look of it and said, you know, why don't you guys do the shootout here? You know, we'll support that. And so we were there for 4 years. The lot is a privately owned piece of property and was recently sold. And we were looking at other places, and Prescott has now done a major shift of moving over to a place called Mile High Middle School. It has a football field that's just barely off the square. And so we moved it there this year because they'll be building there either this year or next year.
Gotcha.
And most of the big events in Prescott now either happen at Mile High or they happen on the square itself inside the county courthouse, so the streets don't have to be closed as much.
Gotcha.
And they like that a lot. So we'll be down there. We have had experience down there. We did the Prescott Sesquicentennial down there as their official Old West people. We were more or less in charge of that and getting it set up. And so we had the western area once again down there. So it's well planned out, well designed. There's going to be like 30 vendors, food. We'll have a beer garden Saturday, plus basically entertainment from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock every day. We've got 4 groups coming in from all over the West, from California, Arizona, to compete for prize money. We have 2 professional groups, the Arizona Gunfighters.
Are you talking about the shootout itself right now?
You bet.
Oh, let's hold on to that.
All right, we can.
Okay, let's hold on to that for real quick. Take me back, though. You mentioned you did the Centennial. What was that like for you guys
it was
to
really,
be called upon to do that?
It was really interesting. We were one of, as I say, one of 3 groups. The other 2 were professionals that were selected by the state to work on it. We performed in both Prescott and down in Phoenix, and it was really interesting. We put together, of course, Old West reenactments that were as historically correct, which is what we always do.
Oh, wow, that's
as
neat.
Could be, and then we had ongoing entertainment during the Best Fest in Prescott. So that ran almost literally nonstop for 3 days, and then we did the same thing for Best Fest in Phoenix. And it was supposed to be going to Tucson as well, but Tucson decided they didn't want it. Why, I don't know, but it was a great, well-organized event, and we had a whole street closed for Western. The way they did it was they had an Indian area, a Western area, aerospace area, military area, Hispanic area. They just called them kind of little towns that they set up.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
It was really a neat thing. Prescott, biggest thing ever happened in Prescott. I think we had like 40,000 people a day almost up in there.
Well, it's hard to tell that you enjoy yourself doing this. We got to take a break, all right? Prescott Regulators and their Shady Ladies. Neil Thomas, the president of the group, is here today. 12th Annual Prescott Regulators Whiskey Row Shootout is coming up on July 22nd and 23rd in downtown Prescott. PrescottRegulators.org is the website. Phone number is 928-499-0699. This is Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
All right.
Getting that college education, what are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills, the smarts.
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That would be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
Stand with me. Be drug-free.
Stand with me. Be drug-free.
To make a difference, we must stand together.
Stand with me. Be drug-free. Supporting our families and listening to our teens.
Stand with me. Be drug-free.
Stand with me. Be drug-free.
We are all one. No one is immune.
Stand with me. Be drug-free.
Let's stand together for a healthier community.
Stand with me. Be drug-free.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking to the president of the Prescott Regulators and their shady ladies, Neil Thomas, today. Phone number again for you is 928-499-0699. The website, real easy, prescottregulators.org. They've got their 12th annual Prescott Regulators Whiskey Row Shootout coming up on July 22nd and 23rd. And you said it starts at 10?
Starts at the actual shootout portion starts at 10. We start with the flag ceremony and things at 9:30. But it'll run from non-stop entertainment from 10 o'clock till about 5.
Food, beer garden,
we got food,
music,
beer garden,
shootouts.
All kinds of things going on all day long.
That's a good time.
And as I said, about 25 or 30 vendors, and it's going to be quite the event.
You know what, before we get into just what the shootout is all about,
all right,
maybe we should talk, the Prescott Regulators and their shady ladies, they are a 501c3 and they're raising money for scholarships. The event is free.
Correct.
But donations.
That's what we like. We like to, if you like what you're seeing, in some of the cases, some of the people that will be performing there, you would have paid $30 or $40 a head to see.
Oh, easy.
And so we put on the performance for free, and we ask you to just reach in your wallet and drop a $5 bill or something into our donation jar. So you're getting a free day with no charge whatsoever. We ask you just simply to kick in a little bit to help out our scholarship fund, which is for veterans and their families, which is something that's different, and we qualify veterans different than most organizations do. We consider anyone who has been in the service to be a veteran, which a lot of them don't, and a lot of them you have to be a combat veteran in order to qualify for a scholarship. We also do the veterans' wives or children, so we feel that if someone spent the entire time at a early warning station in Alaska, frozen to death for a year, he's still a veteran, and his wife and children still missed him for that time frame, and they put up with just as much as he did. So the money is to help them finish up or get their education started, and it's all done through the Yavapai College Foundation.
Neat. And during this event, you're going to be, last year's event is paying for the scholarship you'll be giving away during this year's event.
This year we're giving away a $2,500 scholarship. Last year our scholarship went to a young lady who had been a professional teacher. She had been in the military, served in several tours overseas, never in combat, but as a medic, and she started teaching, got her degree. Her mother passed away, and she'd always wanted to be a nurse, so she moved from the East Coast out here to go into the Yavapai College nursing program.
Yep, very good program.
And our scholarship, which was $2,000, allowed her to get into that and get started without having to borrow money.
Nice.
And so while she's still going to have some help getting through the entire program, she has 2 children, and she was able to get the preliminaries out of the way without owing anybody money. So we're quite proud of that.
Sometimes all you need is a start.
That's it.
Right? Just to help up a little bit, that's it.
And see, the difference is she is not a combat veteran, so most of the scholarships aren't available to her.
Okay, so. I understand. Okay, and let's talk shootout now.
All right.
Okay, you talk 1866 to 1892. Those are the years, the period you guys are in.
1892, right?
1866 to 1892. So tell me about the shootouts. Exactly what is it? Because I'm in my head thinking to myself, driving to work today. Okay, is this going to be, the shootout reenactments, or is this actually where we're shooting at targets to see who can shoot the most targets the fastest or more accurate? How does it work?
All right, what we do is reenactments.
Okay.
All right, when you're shooting at targets, we shoot at each other. You only get to do that once if you're using live ammunition.
Right. This is so true.
Yeah. So what we have is we have a time period that we set for the people that are coming in. It's 1866 to 1892. 1866 stopped what's called the antebellum, or the Civil War, pre-Civil War issue.
Okay.
Also, ladies' fashions changed heavily. And the United States declared in 1892, the Congress, that the West was settled. And so they closed it as an ongoing type of a problem area where they had Indian battles, even though it continued on, and particularly in Arizona.
Outlaws and bandits,
and
just
had them here until even 1930s. But the people in the East, it was now civilized, so we're going to close that era.
Wow.
And it makes it easier for our groups, because if you go any further than that, we switch off of this type of pistol to the current side angle pistols, where they open this way instead of having to load them individually. You have machine guns, and it kind of makes things unfair. If you have one person with a fully automatic weapon,
so, right.
and it makes for very short reenactments.
Right.
So what we require is the groups that are coming in, there's two different types. We have professional groups that will be performing in the afternoon, and we have competition groups that will be performing in the morning. The competition requires that you take something, some type of history, or something that could have happened in the Old West.
Something historically documented.
That doesn't have to be historically documented, but it has to be historically correct in what you're doing. So, if you say this is 1877, for example, you have to wear the right clothes. You have to have the right firearm.
Okay, I see how this works. Okay.
And it should be something that could have happened.
Okay, okay.
And so they put together what we call skits, but they're basically small plays where they do a vignette of history that might be a gunfight, it might be funny, it might be something in that area, and what led up to it and what happened after it. They have to wear the right clothes. The women have to be in the right outfits, and they are judged. They are judged.
That's judged, okay.
Yeah, they are totally judged. And they have to perform 2 reenactments, one Saturday and one Sunday. They both have to be completely different. And the winner takes a cash prize home, as does the second and third place.
That does sound like fun.
They all are competing for cash, and a lot of these groups don't have a lot of money coming in, so it's not just the cash, but it's also the bragging rights.
So Neil, so when this gets underway, is it like announced, or you've got to have a judge panel, right?
Right.
How many judges?
What we do is, over the years, we've had a lot of, including ourselves when we were a competition group, we're no longer doing competition, a lot of complaints about judging, and because the people might be somebody that really didn't know what was going on, didn't know about, we have a lot of safety rules because we're using real guns with 45 long Colt black powder blanks, most of them are using, and they can be very dangerous up close, so they have to be certain distances apart, they have to have the training, they have to have all kinds of safety features that we put in, so they're judged on safety. And so a lot of times people that are off the street, even if they're historians, get wrong what's going on out there because they don't see it the right way. So this year, or last year, we changed it over to if we have 4 groups, then we have a judge from each one of the groups, and they judge each other, and they cannot judge their own group. So they're basically judged by people doing the same thing that know what goes on out while you're doing this. That's
clever.
And it works really well.
So when you start this reenactment, does somebody get up and say, okay, this is going to be such and such a reenactment from 1877? Do you have to announce the year?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Some of them are ambiguous. When we were in competition, used to announce the year and everything else that was occurring. And one of the things we do different is because we try to do things as historically correct as we try to let everyone know exactly what the setting is. But some of these groups don't do that. They just go into it and start acting, and that's their way of doing it. Everybody has their own way of doing it. And the judges either say, gee, we understood what you were doing, or hey, you're a bunch of idiots out there. And so the people we bring in, usually it's by invitation only, and so we try to bring in the best groups for entertainment purposes as well.
Neat. Let's take a break.
All right.
Another one already. Prescott Regulators and their Shady Ladies. Neil Thomas, president, in studio today. Phone number is 928-499-0699. The website is prescottregulators.org. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars. Ed Sheeran. What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
This was me. And Mom and Dad. And my big brother Alex. And Jack. And this was the day that I learned that sandals get their name from sand. That jellyfish aren't made of jelly. That stars don't just come from the sky. That the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget that I was sick. And it changed everything. This was my wish.
I call you and say, I'm with the IRS. You owe back taxes, and if you don't pay today, you're going to jail. You can fix this by sending cash. Did you actually believe me? Too smart to fall for it? Well, last year, Americans paid $100 million to guys like me. 1 in 6 people were scammed. Can you believe it? Well, you shouldn't. I just made that up, too. You are a little gullible.
Welcome back to Countywide. The 12th Annual Prescott Regulators Shootout is coming up on July 22nd and 23rd. That's this Saturday and Sunday. Their website, again, is prescottregulators.org, and the phone number is 928-499-0699. Neil, donations. Let's go back to the donations because the scholarship's a big deal.
It is. It's a big deal, and one of the things we're extremely proud of is the city, no one else is involved in this other than a few sponsors and things in that area. We put this on ourselves. There's no money that gets dragged out of the city for it, and that the impact on Prescott is rather large. So what we ask is, when you come and see this, is that you donate to us. We sell water and things. Buy the water from us. It's the same water you're going to get anywhere else.
Sure.
And but it goes into helping us pay for this event, and then putting the profits together for the scholarship fund. And so we're hoping to raise more money this year than we did last year. We raised more money last year than we did the year before, and it really, really helps out, and it all stays in Yavapai County.
That's neat.
And it's just as likely to be on this side of the mountain as it is over in Prescott. And so it stays here. We make certain it goes through the Yavapai College Foundation, and it goes to a very, very worthy selected person that has served our country or has been married to someone who has served our country.
That's really neat. I like that. I like that part a lot. Now, what if I can't make it Saturday and Sunday? Is there still a way I can donate? Oh yeah. All you have to do is contact us. We probably really need to think about that because we haven't ever had a location that you could donate on our website. But if you call me at that number right there, I'll get it arranged for you, and we'd be more than happy to hit some donations coming in. It's a big deal for us, and we're trying to make it bigger, as big as we can get it. Actually, we also do other things throughout the state, and we still put all the money other than what it goes to keep our infrastructure going without any administration costs or anything else directly into the scholarship funds. So that's where we go with all the funds we raise during the year. More is better. One other thing. Can somebody join the Prescott Regulators? Absolutely. And how does that happen? You got a minute. Okay. In 1 minute, they call us. We have a monthly meeting. You come to a monthly meeting. We give you a packet. You have to go to 3 of our events to make certain this is something you really want to do. Makes sense. Then we have a path into membership. It takes 2 full years to become a full member, but we have a probationary period, and then you move into the full membership as you go forward with it. Make sure that you want to do it before you're committed to the insanity that we have, where we travel all over the state on our dollar
to raise money for our scholarship fund. There's nobody paid in our organization whatsoever. They aren't paid for their room. They're not paid for anything. And if we go to Phoenix to raise money, they go by themselves and go down there on their own dime. So everything that you do or give or work with for in the Regulators goes either, like I said, to supporting the infrastructure or putting money into our scholarship fund.
Neat. All right. Well, Neil, thank you so much for coming in, and we'll be talking to you again, I'm sure, soon.
I'd love to.
Somewhere down the road. Okay. Prescott Regulators and their Shady Ladies, their 12th annual Prescott Regulators shootout coming up this weekend, July 22nd and 23rd, downtown Prescott, prescottregulators.org. Phone number again is 928-499-0699. That's today's Countywide. Thanks for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.